What's up, guys? NBA talk. Here with basketball for Saturday night. Right now is the Chicago Bulls versus Rockets game, which I'll be covering because it's kind of weird, especially coming from, which is not surprising. The Houston Rockets are struggling big time. So let me get into the few games. First one is the Cavaliers versus Boston Celtics. The Cavaliers win 120 to 103 Boston Celtics. The biggest scene on thing about this game is the Cavaliers' reliance on their bench players. Bench players, in my opinion, eventually become very important at some point um, during the regular season or in playoff time because you when it comes to the starters, imagine someone getting hurt, injured, or pretty much not they're just getting exhausted all the time. You're going to need to rely on your bench players to fill in the role. Like, that's the point of being the bench player, or at least part of it. It was a very huge reliance on the bench. A couple of them playing above 20 minutes. That includes Thompson, Iman Shumpert, Delhi. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for them. But it's very important because you don't want to exhaust your entire starting lineup by the time in the finals, playoff, or any time at all. Because that's one of the biggest reasons why the Cavaliers uh, lost to the Warriors. Because pretty much it was LeBron James by himself. Kyrie Irving went down in game one. There was no Kevin Love because he got hurt in the first round of the playoffs. Everyone is trying their best. Delhi put on pretty much a career run for himself, filling in, but everyone else sucking bad. Tristan Thompson, he was doing what he was supposed to do, rebounding the ball, doing good screens, but other than that, there's pretty much no reliance on anyone. They barely use their bench players. And LeBron James had to carry the whole team by himself. But this time around, for the second game in a row, a couple players off the bench played more than 20 minutes, which is very, very good. Give this guy a break. So let me get into the stats. LeBron James had 28 points, 8 assists, 11 rebounds. He played 36 minutes, even though that's still high. That is still high though. Eventually, hopefully, they could bring it down a bunch. Um, Kevin Love returns to the starting lineup after resting one game. Didn't do too well, even though the stats say he was much better when he was on the court. He had 10 points. 10 points for also Timothy Mozgov, who played only 10 minutes. J.R. Smith didn't do too well offensively, but defensively he did good. 14 points for him and 20 points from Kyrie Irving. He's passing the ball more where he should be as being the point guard. He needs to be a playmaker and stop having LeBron James do all the work. You got to create plays too. Um, Tristan Thompson off the bench, 12 points, 5 rebounds. 12 points for Iman Shumpert. Deli Dodova had 10 points as well. Um, each of them had 20 plus minutes, which is very, very good. Very good from them. Um, they shot 33% for the 3 point line and 51% overall. So there was a lot of ball movement because they had 27 assists overall as a team. So that is very, very good from the Cavaliers, and hopefully they can continue this stretch. The Boston Celtics, even though they lost, Even though they struggle from the 3-point line, well, not struggle from the 3-point line, um, struggle with foul trouble, turnovers a little bit, just by a little bit. Even they protected the ball better than the Cavaliers. They're a good defensive team. It's just one loss because they've been playing very good basketball. Crowder had 12 points, 17 points from Sullinger. I don't know why Amir Johnson is put into the center spot other than Sullinger. I don't get it. Uh, Bradley had 12 points, 27 points from Isaiah Thomas. He's been the most consistent scorer. Actually, I would honestly say he's been the most consistent, only consistent scorer for the Boston Celtics. And eventually, this offseason, they're going to need to get somebody that can shoot the ball alongside with him because you can't rely on Bradley to be a scorer. You can't rely on Crowder to be a scorer. You can't rely on Sullinger as a scorer because they are not a primal scorers. They are defensive players. Evan Turner, he can give you something off the bench, but he's not a consistent shooter. He had 11 points off the bench. You have all these other players like Smart, Zeller, Jerbinko. Not some people to rely on. They have a lot of guards they are not using. They need to trade them out. They don't have a Linux because he's still hurt. So that's what it is. Cavaliers win. Boston lose. Still a couple games in the season. Hopefully the Cavaliers can continue the stretch of relying on their bench players because I feel like that is a key to helping them have a better shot at facing Golden State in the finals, which I believe these two teams are going to face each other in the finals because I don't see no one beating the Golden State Warriors. I don't see anyone beating the Cavaliers. There's going to be a rematch for sure. And they're going to need the bench players to step up when the time comes because we can't rely on LeBron James to put on huge minutes and do all the stuff, having put up triple doubles all the time. You got to give this guy a break sometimes. So that's it for me. Peace out for the next one.